there everybody, so and welcome back to Tokyo Babel, and I think I just got spoiled just by looking at the title of that, Samael's Demise. Damn it. Damn it! Oh well. Anyway, let's just jump right in, shall we? Once I ascertained that Raziel was no longer angry, I decided to speak up. Raziel nodded. She seemed to be back to her usual cheery self. I sighed with relief, then immediately thought myself somewhat pathetic for that. We left the sushi shop and returned to the streets. The gate data for the 6th stratum would have to be somewhere in the vicinity. Finding that was our first order of business. Raziel halted her steps, sniffing the air while covering her nose in disgust. Probably fish. I immediately noticed it myself, the stench of rotten food. With the disgusted grimace, I picked up a rod and poked one of the nearby fish. Accompanied by a slimy sound, its abdomen melted away. A yellowish liquid gushed forth from the fish, revealing its decomposed interior. No doubt about it, it had rotten away. We had no way of knowing how time flowed in this world. It was entirely possible time had been stopped until we arrived here. But these fish were certainly all fresh until a little while ago. Fish were quick to spoil, but not this quick. This realization presented two clear points of danger. First, if we continued to inhale this air, heavy with the stench of rotten fish, it could make us sick. This place held thousands upon thousands of fish. Having all of them spoil at the same time would produce an air that might as well be toxic. Still, that itself was hardly a monumental problem. We could easily burn the fish with fire, or use the wind to clear the miasma. Either way, it wasn't a problem we couldn't solve. The real issue was the second problem. These fish were not rotten until a little while ago. That much is fact. Their stench is near unbearable now compared to how they used to be. Yet here they were now, rotting away. In which case, the chances of an enemy ambush were exceedingly high. Okie dokie. Raziel knew what she was doing, wasting no time in readying herself for combat. Just as I was about to brandish the Picati sword, I recalled the fact that I had lost it. Well, no matter. Raziel pulled out the sword from her pocket dimension, then handed it to me. I gave it a light swing. I detected no visible problems. The blade was strong yet light, and although it did not quite measure up to the Picati sword, I could tell it held more than enough magic power for it to be viable for regular combat. Thank you. According to my assumption, making a catalyst out of the sword and imbuing it with magic would be able to greatly amplify its prowess and consequently expand my combat options as well. Something burst out from the abdomen of the rotten fish. A snake. A snake. I evaded the animal's lunge, then sliced its head off in one swing. As it convulsed on the floor, I took note of how big it actually was. We both watched in terror as countless snakes all burst out from inside the abdomen of the fish. It was a repulsive sight, no question about it. Aside from being poisonous in nature, all the snakes displayed clear hostility towards us. I nodded. Whether or not these snakes were like that was another matter entirely. That is not good. I did recall that one story about God sending fiery serpents to punish the people of Moses for complaining. I was going to suggest that an angel would surely be fine in such a case, but the snakes in this stratum were certainly no ordinary specimens.
ちゃんと守ってみせるよ。
ありがとう。その言葉が聞きたかった。
Following Raziel's words of gratitude, she mouthed another phrase under her breath, one I couldn't quite make out due to having most of my attention focused on the snakes. It must not have been anything important.
よし。まずは。
I'll take to the skies. The moment I pushed myself away from the ground, the snakes lunged after me in pursuit all at once. Once I gathered them all up in one place, it was time to burn them to ashes.
広がる土。
Having imbued Raziel's blade with a fire birthed by my nanomachines, I poured even more magic into the steel before releasing it all. Every single serpent that leapt my way burned to cinders in the blink of an eye as the smell of their scorched flesh mingled with the stench of decay, paralyzing my sense of smell.
空間属性追加。土レベル2。
Once the scattered flames came in contact with the ground, they began to burn with renewed ferocity.
火に土の固定化の概念を与えた。一旦蛇たちに火が移れば死ぬまで燃え続ける。
Badass.
まあちょっとばかりスプラッターではあるけど成仏することを祈ろう。
Just as Raziel had predicted, all the snakes met their end amidst the flames the moment they leapt into the fire. On the other hand, was an angel really supposed to say something like Nirvana?
よし。ここからさっさと離れ。
Impossible! The snakes, still on fire, leapt towards us in pursuit. Their gaping mouths spat a darkish liquid in my direction. I blocked it with my right arm, but the moment I did, the liquid began eating away at my clothes. I spun to the left, delivering a roundhouse kick, followed by a quick slash and another blunt strike with the pommel of my sword. Unable to withstand my series of strikes, the snakes fell onto the ground, but came lunging back at me within seconds. There was no end to their numbers, nor could I locate the culprit who had summoned them. I blasted a hole in the ceiling and soared outside, heading towards the clouds. The skies that were vivid and blue a short while ago had turned a grim shade of gray.
この変貌は間違いなく支配者がこの階層を侵食したということ。まずその何者かを発見して倒さないと。
外への道を探すどころじゃないな。
すべてはここにやってきた奴を倒してから。
Yeah. The terrifying gurgle of a beast resembling the desperate cries of a newborn child resounded in the air. Basilisk. And Samael. An innocent-looking young girl revealed herself to us. She rode atop a colossal basilisk, her eyes gleaming with curiosity.
貴様、サマエル。
第5階層デスマーケットへようこそウェルカム。すべての生物は腐り果て、生き残るのは怪物だけ。さあラジエルちゃん、君はどうか全力で逃げちゃってね。
逃がしてくれるならそれに越したことはないんだ。
残念。元天使のよしみでラジエルくらいは助けてあげるけど、君のような愚か者は必要ないんだ。
Samael may have been all smiles, but her thirst for blood was near palpable in the air. Would she really help Raziel, though? I would have loved to believe her, but this was Samael, after all. The crimson serpent who tempted Adam and Eve with the fruit of knowledge and led to their exile from paradise. A fallen angel rivaling Lucifer himself in power. Would someone like that willingly help Raziel, simply because the two of them were once brethren? Impossible. Perhaps Samael had a reason that prevented her from killing Raziel, but not me. Something she had, but I didn't. An easy-to-comprehend difference between the two of us. Other than one of us being a mortal man, the other an angel. I want to kick your ass.
セファーラジオ。
Samael froze in place the moment I uttered the words. She shrugged, wondering if she had said a bit too much.
そうだよ。私はあの書が欲しいのさ。それでね、できればラジエルに解読をお願いしたいんだね。
解読。
だってあの本私たちには読めないんだもん。君が君にしか解けない暗号で文字を書いてしまったからさ。
Samael admitted that she could only read a portion of it. However, the bits that interested her the most were the ones where the encryption was the hardest to unravel.
ああ、そうか。書いた時の記憶がないんだっけ。大丈夫大丈夫。無理やりにでも思い出させてあげるからさ。
Even if Samael did help Raziel, that was hardly her ultimate goal. Not like I'd expected anything good from her.
サマエル、セファーラジエル、何が書かれているんだ。
The fallen angel let out a giggle.
私は打天使で人間の味方だけど、そこまで教えるわけにはいかないな。まして君はあの忌まわしいやつに近しい存在だしね。
忌まわしいやつ。
君、神なんだろう？
違う。
ああ、じゃあ訂正しよう。君はあいつの出来損ないヤルダ・バオトだ。
Samael's words prodded something deep within me. Biting into my lip, I averted my gaze. I could not rebuke her.
刹那、前を向いて。
Followed by that brief instruction, Raziel ended up taking my hand in hers. I could feel it tremble.
来てくれない？
当たり前。サマエル、天使であった時代に言うべきことが一つあった。
As Samael cocked her head in surprise, Raziel glared deep into the fallen angel's eyes.
私はお前が大嫌いだ。
Ooh. Samael clapped her hands together.
そっか。じゃあ仕方がない。この第五階層は空白の階層。すでにパンドラで滅んだベルゼバブたちが支配していた場所さ。ただしパンドラへの直通経路は破壊しておいた。つまり分かりやすく言うと、もう君たちは前に進むしかないってこと。
Really?
お前を倒している。
Samael's eyes twitched for a moment, having no doubt found my bold act of provocation highly insulting. She seemed the type to be easily angered and unable to hide her feelings, almost like a child.
倒す？私を倒す？なんだよ。ここで黙ってラジエルを置いてくれたら見逃してやらないでもなかったのにさ。
Sorry, twerp, not happening.
まさか。君は臆病者だ。臆病者の上に残酷だ。僕。
Samael flashed a wolfish grin at my words.
臆病者はいけないことかい？
いいえ。恐ろしい。
Cowardice meant that the person in question was exceedingly vigilant and able to sense danger far ahead of others. Being a coward could certainly help one achieve victory.
そんな臆病な私の作戦。天道刹那を解体してラジエルをさらう。それから彼女を脳改造する。このプランで行ってみよう。
Sorry, not happening. She uttered the words with the innocence of a child, then proceeded to pat her basilisk on the head.
さあ、クーちゃん、君の出番だよ。
The basilisk's eyes flashed bright as it let out a tremendous bellow. I immediately ran a search in my backup data for the anti-petrification vaccine and began synthesizing it right away. Surprised that its petrifying gaze proved ineffective against me, the basilisk took a step backwards. Brandishing my sword, I lunged straight at the monstrosity. Samael vaulted off the back of her basilisk, indicating that she would only observe the fight from the sidelines. Having shrugged off its initial surprise, the basilisk stepped forward, its cheeks swelling large as it spat out a dose of purple-colored venom. I lunged out of the way, evading the attack. The ground began to immediately melt and corrode away the moment it came in contact with the venomous liquid. The foul-smelling white gas it produced irritated my eyes, yet I could still see something shift beyond its smoky veil. I thrust my hand into the ground, tearing it up to be used like a shield as the irritating sizzle of corrosion filled my ears. I then sent my shield flying with a kick before it could completely melt away, successfully smashing the large piece of asphalt into the basilisk's head. As the basilisk let out an ear-piercing shriek, I ran up the wall and pushed myself away, swiftly landing behind the monster. The basilisk's head flailed abruptly from left to right, searching for its
こっ
prey.
ちだ。
Guided by my voice, the basilisk turned its head in my direction, only to have my steel, imbued with the magic property of air, bite clean into its eyes. The monster bellowed again, the very air trembling at its cries.
うるさい。
Raziel shot a pillar of water onto the oversized lizard's throat, seemingly irritated by its ceaseless bellowing. It let out a sound akin to a frog being squashed. That's very creepy. I don't even know what the hell that would sound like. I wasted no time in drawing closer to it and slicing its head clean off with a swing of Raziel's sword. With its petrifying gaze rendered useless, the basilisk was no more than a lizard spewing venom, hardly an opponent that would pose any threat.
嘘。10分持たなかったか。
The decapitated basilisk landed near Samael, still convulsing in death. Without showing any particular concern for the beast, Samael kicked it aside with tremendous force.
弱いペットはいらない。
The basilisk crashed into a nearby concrete wall, splattering its venomous blood all over the place.
サマエル、これで終わりか。
The fallen angel knit her brows at my provocative tone.
タメ口で話しかけられるのってなんだかゴキブリが顔を張ったような気分だよね。あー気持ち悪い。顔の皮をキリキリと剥がしてあげようかな。
I ignored her attempted grotesque intimidation. It acted merely as a manifestation of her explosive bloodlust. At the end of the day, it meant precious little. Which is why I could respond the way I did.
サマエル、その程度しか言えないような。お前は所詮三下だ。
Ooh. I topped it off with a mocking smile. Samael pulled out her death scythe, a terrifying weapon with the sculpture of a twin-headed snake coiling about its handle. Despite the scythe appearing too large for someone of Samael's stature, the fallen angel wielded it with unmatched skill. Samael's rugged breathing gradually softened, then stopped altogether. And then her gaze found mine. The very air around us chilled. Her prior fury was nowhere to be seen now. A single glance she threw at the nearby flames, the very same ones I used against her serpents, extinguished them in an instant.
さあ天道刹那、お仕置きの時間だよ。
Her tone now lacked its previous fury, contempt, and even playfulness. Instead, it rang as a clear and collected declaration of war. In order to discover a being's, that is, a demon's, an angel's, or a human's raison d'etre, one had to carefully observe how they acted under given circumstances. Their mental state, personality, and motivations determined the form of their weapons would take. Abdiel used a manifestation of rejection, while Uriel did the same with his righteous fury. At first, I thought her hot-blooded and short-tempered, seemingly cunning yet ultimately simple. But that was only what she showed on the surface. Samael disguised herself with countless different masks. The innocent maiden, the short-tempered vixen, and the cold level-headed hunter I face now. That must have been her true face, or perhaps she was all three at once. Samael's sharp hiss of a battle cry momentarily drowned out all sound in the vicinity. Her shape grew hazy, vanishing from sight. I searched the flow of magic and detected activity to the right. As I spun around to slash at her, Samael deflected my blow with a single strike, then proceeded to instantly send me flying with the bash of her scythe's steel handle. I'm not gonna lie, that scythe looks fucking awesome. Her death scythe tore into the ground like a hot knife through butter in an attempt to deliver a slash towards my face. After evading a few slashes, the scythe inevitably bit into my cheek, sending a violent spurt of fresh blood from the veins it severed. I set my nanomachines to work, coagulating blood vessels around the vein, consequently halting the bleeding. I swiped off the remaining blood with my palm, poured magic into it, and sent the drops flying towards Samael. The frozen drops of blood, now imbued with magic, possessed the same strength as a blade of steel. The crimson projectiles grazed Samael on the cheek. I sped through the air, using this moment to flee with Samael hot on my heels. Raziel, in the meantime, positioned herself behind the both of us. In other words, my enemy was now exposing her back to Raziel. We didn't even need to make eye contact or communicate through telepathy. Raziel knew what to do.
空間属性追加ソロネ
She summoned numerous wooden wheels clad in fire and sent them after Samael. Without even gracing the wheels with a single glance, Samael simply looked into my eyes, flashing a wicked smile.
背中から不意打ちとは 天使の割に卑怯じゃないかな。そう思わない？
He then swung one arm backwards, instantly annihilating one of the pursuing wheels. If that alone wasn't enough, she also lodged the blade of her scythe between the other wheel's spokes in order to hurl it my way. The flaming wheel bore the name of Throne, its magical prowess exceeding that of Belial's fire pillars. If we considered only the amount of magical energy released in this one particular attack here, it certainly was superior to Belial's. In other words, if I let it hit me, I was as good as dead, reduced to burning cinders. I wasted not a split second to come to a decision. I would first tap into my power created through science, then amplify it with magic. I needed to calculate the vector, wait for the right time, and strike. Samael followed the wheel's trajectory with her gaze as it was blown violently into the air. Spotting bits and pieces of torn-off asphalt in my vicinity, I delivered a kick to send them crashing straight into Samael's face. Samael brandished her scythe in defense. I responded by unleashing air magic to rob the vicinity of sound, then slipped past the fallen angel's raging typhoon of slashes. Samael's lips contorted into a sneer. Her tiny feminine feet crashed into my abdomen with vicious ferocity. Samael's kick was powerful enough to completely ignore the magical defenses I erected. Unable to withstand the attack, I tumbled limp onto the ground. A few consecutive slashes from her scythe chopped the airborne wheels into tiny pieces, which then proceeded to rain down upon us like tiny meteorites. The crimson petals of fire dispersed as they met with our bodies. My distance from Samael was less than 30 centimeters at this point. Oh my god, those look awesome! As Raziel attempted to hurry my way, Samael summoned two massive snakes, one clad in flames, the other in bronze. One was the fiery serpent god sent to the people of Moses to punish them for idleness, while the bronze snake came to be in order to stand up against it. The bronze beast coiled about Raziel's body to entangle her while his fire-clad twin stood guard as an impregnable wall. Raziel slowly turned her face our way. Our difference in height had suddenly been reversed. I fell onto my knees as she looked over me from above. As Samael let out a faint giggle, she gently left the edge of her scythe's blade touch my neck. The fallen angel stared at me in confusion. Damn! She held her sharp, frigid steel aloft as her lips contorted into a twisted smile, eyes shooting wide open. I would not make it in time. Not through raw speed. I could close our distance in a mere second, yet she would bring her death scythe down upon my head in less than that. The fallen angel Samael could easily be capable of such a feat, in which case, I'll use this timing to exceed your expectations. Oh, didn't realize he was talking. It all came down to timing. Even against godlike speed, if one could properly read their opponent's movements, they could be intercepted. Even a blow as sluggish as a tortoise's advance would land a clean hit unless the opponent saw it coming. Transforming each cell in my body into a generator, I produced electricity internally, then amplified it through magic. The speed of my legs, the swing of my arms, and the muscles in my rear all gaining 5 times their previous velocity. I closed the distance between myself and Samael before she could bring her scythe down. My combat style of choice was boxing, although I felt uncertain whether or not angels or fallen angels had any vitals to be struck. Either way, I had no time to lose. A blow to the solar plexus, another to the area of the liver, and a fierce elbow strike to the jaw. Samael's body took to the skies. I jumped after and on top of it, delivering a kick to her throat to send her plummeting back to the ground. A terrible crunch signaled the ravaged state of her neck bones. I did not hesitate. Even if she appeared a frail young girl on the outside, Samael was without a doubt a fallen angel who had lived for several millennia. In fact, a blow like mine would hardly be enough to kill her, but it was enough to make her black out, thus creating an opening for us. That opening was more than enough. I fled alongside Raziel, leaving the unconscious Samael in the middle of the market floor with only the rotten fish to keep her company. As we left, Raziel scorched the entire marketplace, letting her sacred fire consume and return all to ashes. Not so careless as to simply leave things like that, we both waited in the vicinity of the market, expecting Samael to flee. We waited for what seemed like an eternity, yet
来ないね。
we had certainly waited enough for me to be able to say that. Raziel, too, wore a puzzled expression.
一旦炎を消す。これで継承などということはありえない。
Damn! Raziel snapped her fingers, instantly banishing the fires of Throne. We searched the mountain of rubble that once was the Tsukiji marketplace, but found no trace of Samael's body, only blackened marks on the ground. Probing for any magical activity proved fruitless. We did another search after blowing the rubble clean away, but found no body this time either. Raziel may have excelled at detection, yet even she had to admit that the only two living beings on the fifth stratum were us. In other words, Samael must have perished for certain. I doubt it. She died easily, without leaving a single trace behind. All too easily.
信じられる。
Raziel stared at the ground, hesitating for a few moments before speaking.
信じられない。サマエルは蛇の化身。不死身にして不老のはず。もちろん、この東京バベルでもそうであるかはわからないけれど。
だが、彼女はいない。
そう。この階層には間違いなく存在しない。
That's what I'm thinking.
賛成だ。
Samael would never perish from something of this caliber, yet our magical search returned no results. We had no more reason to linger here. We left the marketplace behind, intent on finding the gates leading to the sixth stratum.
よし。行こ
Raziel, still seemingly uncertain of the facts, continued to gaze listlessly at the ruined market. Once I tapped her on the shoulder, she gave me a curt nod and we both took to the skies. Shortly after the two had left, Samael came crawling out from below a mountain of dirt, her skin an immaculate white and only a few smudges of dirt tainting it. She hardly looked like someone who had just been in a severe fire. She stood as the incarnation of the Crimson Serpent, an immortal fallen angel able to control all snakes at will. She would perish to no attack. In that case, how could her magic remain undetected? Although Samael was immortal, she could time and again approach a state of extremely close to death. She could become a corpse and begin rotting away if she so desired. Similarly, she could suppress both her magic and heartbeat. She was perpetually at death's door, yet never once did she cross over to the other side. Samael cast her gaze skyward, observing its canvas with vacant eyes. After a few moments, she gave her own cheeks a hearty slap with both palms and began taking her surroundings with a hint of puzzlement.
何をしようとしていたんだっけ?
The flames or the ferocity of the battle could have been the cause. Either way, Samael's memories were vague at best. She could more or less remember her own name, abilities, and goals to a certain extent. As for what she was supposed to do right now, trying to figure that out left her at a complete loss.
確か、チキショ、なんだろう。確か、ああ、もう、なんでわからないんだよ。私のバカ。
Samael gave her cheeks yet another slap. Nearby, another girl observed the fallen angel, a hint of pity reflected in her eyes.
ラジエルを確保し、セファーラジエルの秘密を解き明かすのが目的だったのでは。
The voice. Samael spun around to face the sudden newcomer, scythe at the ready. However,
なんだ、君か。
is that Eve? Samael let out an exhausted sigh. The girl standing before her now was the one she would never forget. I fucking called it. Eve, Samael's very own accomplice.
失敗したのですか?
Eve spoke up in an uninterested tone.
言い訳するわけじゃないけどさ、なんか体の調子が悪くて。
I knew there was something up with Eve. Eve met Samael's embarrassment with a vague nod, leaving it unclear whether or not she knew the reason behind the fallen angel's failure.
それなら仕方ありませんね。だよね。
Eve calmly lifted her arm, pointing a finger at the visibly surprised Samael.
何？イブ。劣化したのなら仕方ありません。次のサマエルはうまくやってくれるでしょう。
What? What did she just say? Just as Samael was about to inquire further, the sheer surprise at the explosive crunch coming from within her own body was the final thought Samael experienced.
劣化速度が速くなってきていますね。やはり限度があるのでしょうか。
What the shit? Samael's body had literally burst open. The only reaction Eve showed towards the grisly spectacle was a weary sigh upon noticing a chunk of flesh stuck to her clothes.
汚れが取れるでしょうか。
And a moment later, she was gone. All that remained were the scattered lumps of flesh littering the vicinity, yet even those would soon melt to dust and be carried off by the wind. Holy shit! Okay. Okay, I knew that there was something up with Eve, but Jesus. As we stepped into the Hamarikyu Gardens, we are greeted by a vividly yellow field of... I'm guessing that's not pronounced the way it's spelled, so I'm going to say rapes? This is where we found the entrance to the 6th stratum. That's kind of a very bad name, but I think it's pronounced rapes if it's a type of flower. The famous... A dazzling field of golden rape flowers bloomed full before our very eyes. Samael's corruption must not have reached this place. Its beauty moved even me to emotion. Yellow flowers swayed gently in the light breeze, giving no indication of the carnage that unfolded nearby just a short while ago. And in the middle of that field, in sharp contrast to the scenery around it, stood the door we had been looking for. A brief glimpse made it seem an average wooden door painted white, yet a more careful inspection revealed a vast flow of magical energy emanating from within. We had reached the entrance to the 6th stratum. The field around us brimmed with life and beauty, not entirely unlike a certain young girl I'd met in Pandora. Sunflowers would have been a more fitting match for her personality, though. For some reason, Raziel was staring daggers my way. Either way, we needed to press onwards to the 6th stratum. We connected both keys to Raziel's tablet and began the data update. I no longer hesitated. If Raziel wished to go, I would follow by her side, guarding her every step. And making sure I survived, too. Onwards, then, to the 6th stratum, to the book town of Konda. The moment we opened the gates and stepped in, we were greeted by insanity itself. I felt my mind overpowered by a tremendous force, trampled down by an avalanche of memories and feelings transformed to data. These were not my own feelings or memories, but those of another, birthed by someone completely unrelated to me. I screamed at the top of my lungs as my neurons worked at inhuman speeds, to the point where I imagined they could explode at any second. The blank region I previously isolated in my mind found itself filled to the brim in mere seconds due to the overwhelming volume of information, images, sounds, and feelings, entering it all at once. Feelings such as regret. Regret over one's own powerlessness. Regret over remaining celibate for a lifetime. Feelings such as joy. A surge of overwhelming joy as one indulges in acts deemed taboo by the world. Feelings such as happiness. Shedding taboo. Letting desire drive one's actions with no shackling dignity. No intruding rationality. Only instinct. We strive for happiness, devoid of taboo, of burdens of responsibility, with only desire as king. Enough. Quiet down. Their voices rang like a swarm of flies, completely jamming my vision and hearing alike. My mind found itself assailed by a vibrant cacophony of ecstatic joy. I longed to destroy, to violate, to ravage all. Despite her similarly grave condition, Raziel still possessed enough willpower to reach out to me. An angel's mind must have been far more resilient than a mere human's. Dizziness took hold of me as my nausea and anguish amplified with each passing second. I felt as if someone had cut an incision in my skull, only to drive a needle deep into my exposed brain tissue. A sensation of absolute terror, far transcending mere pain. As my mental capacities had completely shut down from the sheer intensity of the pain, I did the only thing I was still capable of, screaming at the top of my lungs. The pain made me yearn for death, all the while still wanting to live. I wished to be released. I longed from the bottom of my very soul to see an end to this pain, to be liberated from this torment, but that alone was the ultimate taboo. Being liberated, yearning for joy, longing desperately for happiness. All those were sins most grave, which is why I longed to be free from its shackles.
Setsuna!
Her voice rejuvenated my weary mind like a pleasantly chilly winter breeze. I wanted her to call my name more.
Setsuna! Shikkari shite! Setsuna!
She embraced me, her body trembling with fear. Did she fear for her own life or mine? I touched my own lips, finding them curling upwards. I must have been smiling even in agony. A moment later, that indescribable torrent departed, leaving me a broken, trembling mess as I still felt the lingering echo of its crippling anguish. I fell groaning to my knees. What in the world was that? Raziel whispered the answer into my ears. Despite being in terrible shape herself, the angel still had the strength to stand on her own 2 feet, unlike me. Its intensity far surpassed the hallucinations I'd experienced so far. It felt almost akin to having a wild beast run amok within my very soul.
耐えられなければどうなる
I knew the answer all too well. We would end up just like Kuromiyako and Abdiel in their quest to reject all. Or perhaps like the maddened Uriel lording over the third stratum. I knew but one thing for certain.
これが長く続けば僕には耐えられそうにない
That was the simple truth of the matter, which is why I wasn't particularly terrified either. What I experienced just now was powerful enough that no amount of training would help me prepare for it. If all I had to face was crippling pain, I could still bear it. I could have taken refuge within my own heart, blocking out the outside world. However, this kind of mental contamination was different. For as long as the door stood ajar, I could be invited in. Forget everything, forget yourself, and be at peace. Its temptation resounded in my head again and again and again without end. And if I had leapt inside that door, all my pain would have vanished. I knew that for a fact. But I would have also succumbed to madness. I dreaded that outcome. I dreaded the fact that I could have buckled beneath that pressure. I dreaded to become another Kuromiyako, another Uriel. Raziel went on, her tone somewhat distant and cold.
セツナはここに残った方がいい。ひょっとしたらアダムが助けに来るかもしれない。
ラジエルは行くのか
うん。この先に私の本がある。あるのなら私はそれを手に入れるまで決して壊れはしない。
Raziel's gaze burned with determination.
行くよ
In that case, I had no choice but to continue my pilgrimage. No sacrifice would be too great to protect her. Raziel looked at me, a hint of sadness in her eyes. She may have wished for me to stay behind. I ended up expanding the blank space I created in my mind back in the third stratum to its absolute limits. To do that, I discarded all unnecessary memories. Thankfully, it had only been a few years since I was born. However, the act of casting away memories still pained me like a knife to the heart. I took the memory of my birth, the joyful cheers of all who were present, and let it fade into oblivion. I pulled up the memory of the first meal I'd ever taken and banished it for good. They were all treasured memories, yet utterly unimportant in the grand scheme of things. I needed to focus on the here and now. My heart bled with every memory lost, but I managed to endure it. In the end, I managed to expand the blank region of my mind to a point where it could take in all destructive madness of this place. And to accomplish it, I had just erased over 80% of my past. I remembered but two things: that I had killed over 10 billion people, and that a woman called Tendo Nara was my mother. That was more than enough for me. Raziel eyeballed me with a difficult expression, curious if I had regretted any of it. I had no more regrets. To me, the only important thing right now was Raziel herself. As such, I was content with my actions. Damn. The incessant ticking of a sizable antique clock echoed loud and clear in Kugutsu Sorumi's ears. It had been several hours since they lost contact with Tendel Setsuna and Raziel. Lilith and Sorumi decided to return to Pandora, while Adam and E proceeded to explore the fourth stratum. Sorumi reported the day's events to Astaroth, exhaling a sigh or two mid-sentence. Lilith was helping Camiel come up with a counterplan of all sorts. In all honesty, Sorumi would have wished to join them as well.
第4階層にはいないだろう。あそこには押柴鋼が支配者として未だ君臨しているはずだ。
じゃあ第5、第6、ひょっとして第7とかですかね。
そこに到達した人間は今のところ一人としていなかったが、第1号になればいいな。
Sorumi suddenly recalled what she had been trying to ask. It wasn't anything urgent, but she felt this was the best possible time to bring it up.
どうかしたのかね。
ですね。よくわからないんですけど、ちょっと昔に壊れた人たちがこのパンドラを襲撃したんですよね。
ベルゼバブとサンダルフォン、そしてサンジェルマン伯爵のことか。ならば人ではなくて悪魔と天使だが。
いやまあ二足歩行をしてたらとりあえず人間でもいいじゃないですか。でですね、私はあまり悪魔に詳しい方じゃないんですけど。
勉強しておきたまえ。
してます。いや、とにかくベルゼバブさんって有名ですよね。
ルシファーの次に出てくるとしたらまず彼だろうな。
サンダルフォンさんも強かったんですよね。
炎の天使、天使の軍団長、怪異としてはミカエルに次ぐ大天使だ。単体の戦闘力ならばカマエルをも上回るだろうな。
サンジェルマン伯爵って不老不死じゃないかって噂された人ですよね。
希代の怪人だな。凄腕のサイキッカーでもあった。
そのグループは一体どの階層まで到達できたんですか？
Astaroth sighed, leaning back in his chair.
彼らは狂気に浸りながら叫んでいたよ。神は正しく、我は正しいとね。彼らは
でも失敗した。
That was an accident.
そうだ。彼らがいつどうやって誰に敗北したのか定かではない。当時我々は混乱していたからね。
混乱？
なぜ巡礼が失敗するのか、なぜ途中で彼らは精神を崩壊させてしまうのか、なぜ天使や悪魔を食らって力をつけようとする人間が出始めたのか。
何も分かってなかったんですか？
今でも不明だよ。分かっているのは階層を上へ行けば行くほど精神汚染がひどくなるということだけだ。
じゃあ原因とか。
歌が聞こえると皆は言っている。コーラスが耳に響くと。
Oh, so that was the music that was playing. Okay. Sorumi had just remembered something. Back then, she could have sworn she heard a beautiful singing voice. Astaroth loudly snapped his fingers, startling Sorumi.
天国に行かせたくない誰かがいる。当初我々はそれをサマエルの仕業だろうと推測していた。
サマエルさんってカマエルさんのご親戚か何かで？
Astaroth allowed himself a short giggle.
違うさ。サマエルはアダムとイブに知恵の実を食べるようそそのかした堕天使だ。人間を愛し神を憎む蛇だ。
愛してたんですか？
人間が犬をペットとして飼うように愛していたろうね。ただし彼女は犬が自分の思い通りにならないと足をへし折り、噛みつかれたなら首をへし折るタイプだが。
それは飼うというよりは
Full on slavery.
そんな打天使がやらかしたんじゃないかと我々は思っていた。
No, now I'm convinced it was Eve.
精神汚染はサマエルさんの仕業だと？
ああ、だからサマエルなどものともしないような天使や悪魔を送り込めば問題ないとそう思ったんだがね。
Such as Beelzebub and Sandalphon. Both far surpass Samael, whose primary trade lay in temptation. Even here in Tokyo Babel, where one's raison d'etre proved essential in battle, Beelzebub and Sandalphon held an overwhelming advantage, which is precisely why no one expected someone of Samael's caliber to prove to be an obstacle at all.
先ほどの問いに答えよう。支配者になった連中が幾度かベルゼバブたちを襲撃したが、彼らは危なげなく勝ち進んでいった。そして第4階層の支配者を打ち倒したと彼らは報告し、我々は喜んだ。何しろ彼ら以外にそこまで到達した存在はいなかったからね。だがそこで報告が途絶えた。第5階層に向かうと告げた時点でだ。
第5階層が限界ということでいいんですか？
そうとも言えない。彼らが第5階層にたどり着けたのかどうかすら不明だからね。
つまり誰も目撃してないんですよね、それ以降は。
Astaroth nodded.
サマエルがあの3人を凌駕する強さを持っているとは。
When the three returned after a pilgrimage of 10 days, they were far beyond the point where they could be reasoned with. Astaroth's gaze grew distant. Sarumi understood in a heartbeat that the Demon Lord was remembering the day in question.
死んだ。誰も彼もが殺された。我々は天使と悪魔を総動員して戦い、勝利した。いや、あれは勝利と言えるのだろうか。誰も彼もが疲弊し絶望した。その点では敗北と言えるかもしれないな。
Astaroth's final words lowered to a whisper.
じゃあそれ以降第4階層を踏破した人はいなかったんですか？
そうだ。そして時が経つにつれて第4、第3、第2階層まで占拠された。第1階層まで支配されそうになった時、どうにか食い止めることができたのさ。
あ、私が関わった事件ですね。
そう。君はゲテルの瞳を持っているんだったね。
はい。なんかいまいちうまく活用できてなくて妹に申し訳ないです。
Don't worry about it, Sormi.
人間も悪魔も、そして天使も、視覚情報というのは極めて重要な位置を占めている。だが我々は常に見たいものしか見ようとしている。俺も、そして君もだ。だからその目を有効に活用したいのならば、見たくないものを直視しなさい。わかりにくかったかな？
Not really.
あ、いえ、全然わかりやすかったです。ありがとうございます。それじゃあお仕事の邪魔してごめんなさい。失礼します。
Flailing her arms around in a panic, Sormi hurriedly left the room, eliciting a sigh from Astaroth.
面白い人間だ。運命が違っていれば、彼女は天国の門を開いたかもしれない。
A tragedy, really. Astaroth found himself wrestling with the same thoughts even since he ascended the position of Pandora's leader.
このパンドラに存在するものは、誰もが皆永劫を回り続けるべきか、道を切り開くべきか、選択せねばならない。
A difficult task for Astaroth himself, practically impossible in fact. An unpleasant thought nestled itself in the back of his head, howling but one thing. Keep going in circles, embrace the eternal cycle. Should they choose a hollow, fruitless path, or take the one offering terror and despair? They needed to choose one or the other. As much as it pained Astaroth to admit it, both roads would only lead to destruction. He recalled the Archangel in question, a dear friend he fought to the death. He was both here and nowhere. The angel, who, despite knowing Astaroth was a demon, still greeted him with the same cheerful smile. The memory of his departed friend tormented Astaroth still. Loneliness sharp as a blade of steel plunging into his heart at the very thought. Ah, shit. Astaroth steeled his expression once again. Samael, who had just appeared out of nowhere, hopped atop the Demon Lord's ebony desk with a mischievous giggle. Astaroth smiled, granting the fallen angel an understanding nod. Astaroth flashed a bitter smile. This is the fourth time he had heard those words. Samael's gaze grew vacant as she repeated the same phrase over and over like a broken record. They defeated me were the words she was looking for, no doubt, yet her mind refused to readily admit such a fact. Astaroth decided to guide her thoughts in the correct direction. Astaroth nodded. She was contradicting herself. Samael tried desperately to form coherent and logical thoughts, yet her efforts were akin to attempting to piece a broken vase together with glue. It was already broken. The damage had been done. Her attempts were futile. Samael nodded, understanding what the Demon Lord had meant. What?
君は悪い者の側だ。君が東京バベルを密かに壊そうと企んでいる。天国を支配し、地獄を壊し、すべての平行世界を消し去ろうとしている。そうでなくてはならない。
そうだよ。私はそれが目的で。
だが君はあまりに脆弱すぎる。あの身の影響かどうかは知らないが、劣化している節もあるな。今に壊れるだろう。
アスタロト？ねえ、何言っているの？私、さっぱりわからないよ。
Yeah, I kind of am clueless too, honestly.
君は所詮大地を這う蛇に過ぎないということさ。他人をそそのかすしか能がない。
Astaroth touched Samael's forehead with a finger.
停止。
Samael simply froze in place with her mouth still partially open. She looked almost like a lifelike doll.
ご報告いたします。アダムから第4階層を踏破したという知らせが参りました。
Lucifuge, after having materialized out of thin air, supplied his master with a brief report.
わかった。彼らが帰還したら出頭するように伝えろ。ああ、それからこれを片付けろ。もう使うことはあるまい。
Lucifuge nodded, disposed of the body, then vanished himself. Once he had confirmed that he was truly alone in his room, Astaroth let out a long sigh.
神を殺して全ての世界を我が物に。
A painfully simple motive. If only such a thing could satisfy him, life would be a league simpler indeed. But reality was different. Conquering the world or slaying God mattered precious little. All they had left was the soaring purgatory of Tokyo Babel, drifting ever onwards, and the only thing Astaroth was capable of at this point was to oversee its continued existence.
何もかも終わっているというのに、誰も彼もが生きあがこうとする。
The Demon Lord exhaled a deep sigh. How did it all come to this? Could it have been her fault, that angel's, or his own? Or perhaps the blame lay with a certain love-struck angel.
アスタロト、皆を頼む。天使と悪魔がいさかいを起こす時代は終わりを告げた。すべてを救うことはできずとも、救えるものはあるはずだ。私にお前の感情はきっと理解できない。私は天使だったから、お前のそういう業を理解したくともできない。
Indeed, it is exactly as he had said. I carried heavy sins.
やるがいい、アスタロト。私に悔いがあるとするならば、それはお前だけなんだ。
Rest well. The soul was akin to liquid. As it dispersed into a mass vast as an ocean, it would inevitably vanish and disperse into nothingness. Should one lament such a thing, or celebrate it? The answer had eluded Astaroth, no matter how much he dwelled upon the question. Yet that was the only thing left to the Lord of Demons, his own thoughts.
アダムが第3階層、第4階層を立て続けに踏破。
What the shit? Oh my god. Okay. So Eve was up to something. And now... What the hell? Oh god, my head hurts. That information was... Oh god. Just freaking... Okay, so Samael died twice. Once to Eve and, I guess, once to Astaroth. God, you're gonna make me feel bad for Samael now. What the shit? What the hell is going on? This is... Ugh. Damn. Okay, now my head hurts. Oh boy, this is... Looks like things are finally starting to get pretty complicated. Oh, great, because I love complicated thoughts. Well, since I've got a headache, I'm going to go take some Benadryl and I'm gonna go sleep. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.